The mission of the Israeli Defense Force is every ground, aerial, naval operational activity and exercise they conduct is first and foremost carried out for the sake of defending the state of Israel and its civilians. They face terrorist organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad, all of which pose a regional and international threat. Welcome to Mid-South Viewpoint on Bot Radio Network. I'm Byron Tyler. Pleasure, friend, to have you stop by. And today we're really privileged and honored to have from Israel today here on the show, Mati, who is a member of the Israeli Defense Force. Mati, welcome to the United States and welcome to Bot Radio Network.
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
What is your initial impression of the U.S.? You've been here a few days. Is this your first time to the U.S.?
No, it's not my first time. Have been here before a couple times. But this time I get a very warm welcoming from the people here, especially here in Memphis. It's the first time in Memphis. And the people are supporting, and it's very, very, very nice to meet them, and it's very warm.
Any experience while you've been here, maybe unusual or something funny or humorous that stands out to you since you've been here?
Yeah, every time we finish to talk to a group of people come up to you and want to hug you. So I'm used to it from Israel, but not from America, and it's very good to see that's happening also here, and we love the support.
How does it make you feel when you get those hugs?
It gives us strength. I mean, it means a lot to us. We are here. I'm here to meet the Jewish community and other communities around here to let them hear from firsthand what's happening in Israel these days. And after I talk to them, this is how they respond. It's very meaningful for us.
I know it has to be so encouraging to you. Tell us a little about growing up in Israel, what life is like for you, and something about your family.
Well, I was born in the north part of Israel. I lived there all my life. I have a big family. We're 9 brothers and sisters, and I'm the oldest one.
You said you had 9 brothers and sisters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. My mother, she's the greatest. And I'm married, and I have 3 kids. And I can say that maybe the most thing that you can feel when you come to Israel is like a whole big family. Everybody knows everyone. Everybody loves everyone. We know... you always will meet someone you don't know, but both of you know someone together that you do know. So it's like a whole big family.
A lot of connections there.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it special too. Well, is it true that Israeli, both men and women, are required to serve with the IDF after completing high school before starting the university?
Yeah, that's the law. When you get to the age of 18 or finish high school, you recruit into the army. Each one does whatever fits him by his skills and how he is, and you serve for between 2 or 3 years. It depends where do you go, and then you keep on going with your life until you're age 45. You can still go into reserve if you're needed during those days, like these days today. And the Israelis are very happy. It's part of your culture to serve in the army and give your time for your country.
Monty, I mentioned to you in 2018, I traveled on 2 occasions to Israel for my first time, and it was a most wonderful experience that I had. And one of the things that at that time, I actually felt safer there than I do sometimes in Memphis, you know. And I guess knowing, too, that the citizens of Israel have been trained, you know, of having gone through the IDF time. Of course, it was also being a very beautiful country and the new things I experienced there. What did it mean for you the first time that you put that IDF uniform on?
A lot of pride and a lot of self-confidence. I mean, you know, here in the U.S., you can drink alcohol only when you're 21. In Israel, when you're 18, you're already recruited in the army, you put the uniform on, and the minute you put your uniform on, you're not a private person anymore. You're the person of your country, and you have to serve the public.
Yes.
And you have a big, big purpose for what are you doing. So you feel, self-confidence, and you feel very proud that you have the right to do that.
One evening, we went into the old city of Jerusalem. I just want to share the story quickly. And it was, I felt the sense of that pride because there was a special ceremony, and there was Israeli flags. It was an evening time. It was at the temple, the wall, the Wailing Wall.
Western Wall.
It was beautiful. The lights were just, you know, making everything look so beautiful. But people were waving the Israeli flags. And I believe the ceremony was they were initiating a new set of military people, into the army. You felt that energy and you felt that excitement while that was taking place.
Yeah, the Western Wall is one of the most holiest places we have in Israel, but we have much more of those kind. I mean, the country of Israel is an ancient country. It's the country of Abraham and Yitzchak and Jacob, our forefathers. And when we put those uniform on and we feel part of the Israeli, army, it's not just this Israeli army right now. We feel we're connected in a chain that's long for 1,000 years back to the ancient Israeli armies who fought there against empires that don't exist anymore. And when you feel a part of that long chain for so many years back, I mean, you feel it's something on your shoulders. It's not just you came today and you became an army.
So that sentiment of defending Israel among IDF soldiers, that's felt among all of the soldiers. Just having that opportunity to defend the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about friendships or relationships, if you have any, with Arab people in Israel. And if so, what are those conversations like, and what have you learned through those relationships?
Well, I can say, for example, my deputy now in the IDF he's a Bedouin Muslim, and we are like brothers. So we have very good connections with some of them in Israel, and when they are part of Israel and they serve in the IDF and they do like all the other civilians, and there's some that don't. So it's very different. It doesn't matter exactly what they are, where they come from. It depends what they think and what they do.
I think it helps clarify some for American thought that there is a separation with Arabs and Jews, in Israel. But that's not true. When I was in Jerusalem, they were all living together, eating in restaurants together. I mean, shopping and just being part of the market and just doing life. Prior to the Hamas terrorist attacks on October 7th, back last year, 2023, what were you doing, say, the day before the attack?
I serve today in the IDF. The attack was on a holiday. It was the last day of a Sukkot holiday. It's called Simchat Torah.
Could you describe that holiday and what it means?
Well, the Jews, we have a holiday. It's called the Sukkot. It's a 7-day holiday, and that day, and in those days, we eat and sleep and celebrate like a booth that reminds us the way we went on the journey from Egypt to Israel. And we celebrate it. And the last day of that holiday, we celebrate getting the Torah from Mount Sinai. And we're happy with it.
Yes.
And usually it's a holiday that it's full of dancing with the Torah and having a lot of respect and fun and learning and finishing it and starting it from the beginning. And so the day before October 7th, I was at the holiday. We were preparing to get ready for it. Buying stuff, cooking stuff. We did, my whole family, as I said before, we're 9 brothers and sisters. We invited the whole family to one of my brother's house, and we were celebrating together the holiday.
When the news broke or you started hearing that there was something happening, can you describe that? Describe those feelings that you had at that time?
Yeah. I woke up 8:30 in the morning from a phone call. I see one of my friends on the phone. And I was wondering to myself, why is he calling me on a holiday 8:30 in the morning? Something is wrong. And I answered him and I said, why are you calling me? It's a holiday. He said, you don't know what's going on? I said, no. He said, where are you? I said, I'm in my brother's house enjoying the holiday. What's happening? He said, there's a war down south. And in that split of a second, I understood that something is going to change in Israel forever. And jumped out of bed. Said goodbye to my wife. She has a birthday in this holiday, so we didn't celebrate her birthday this year, and got into the car and drove as fast as I can down south.
And as you were driving, and I can't imagine the emotions that you were feeling, you didn't really know the severity at that point. Did you have any idea?
Nope. We didn't. I didn't have any idea. We heard there's a Hamas terrorist attack from Gaza to Israel. We didn't know exactly what's going on. And it's a pretty long drive from where I was until my base, that it's only 20 minutes from the Gaza Strip. It takes like 3 hours drive. And on the way, I was listening to the radio to understand what's going on.
Yes.
And I could have heard the people on the radio interviewing civilians who live near the Gaza Strip and all kinds of villages and kibbutzim. and they were talking from the safe rooms. They're saying, we hear the Hamas terrorists in our backyard shooting and killing and burning, and who's going to come to rescue us? And, you try to imagine, well, how many villages, how many places is this taking place right now, this terror attack? But only when we really got there, we understood what's going on.
Just a few months ago, I had the privilege of visiting with Adele Raymer, who lives in one of the kibbutzes there. She was sharing her story, the horror and the things she shared. Dear friends, that were murdered. I just can't imagine, what that was like. In Israel, there's sometimes attacks of different kinds. There's sometimes rockets that are fired in. I know you mentioned these safe rooms, so you're pretty accustomed to going to a safe room. But this wasn't the same, was it? This was a different experience, a different kind of attack.
Yeah, wasn't a terror attack. This was declaring war on Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of attack Hamas did, they said, I'm going all in. I want to kill everyone I could. I want to destroy everything I can destroy until the end.
Yeah.
They thought they had opportunity. They were wrong. And we got together. And right now we're trying to make them pay the price for what they did.
So it was a matter of once you got the call, it's put the uniform on and go to your detail.
Yeah, the second I heard what's happening, I had no doubts about what I'm doing. Is getting down south as fast as I can. But I can tell you that it's not right only for those who were serving by duty in the IDF.
Yeah.
Every single civilian that had a way to help just drove down south. And, this attack was stopped just because heroes, just took their lives, didn't care about what's going to happen, and ran as fast as they can south to save the children and the women and the old people who were being slaughtered in the villages near the border.
Did you personally lose any family members or friends on October 7th?
I don't think there's even one guy in Israel who didn't lose someone he knows. Especially if you serve at the IDF. Of course, I have many friends who got killed or were injured during October 7th and after during the war. But as I said also before, in Israel you feel like a whole big family and everybody knows everyone. So I don't think today there's someone in Israel who is not affected by the terror attack on October 7th.
Many days have passed since October 7th. How is the spirit of the people of Israel today to find hope and encouragement amidst such tragedy and death?
Well, all history is full of challenges and full of tragedies since Israel had the first temple until these days. And our nation knows how to deal with it. The spirit is very strong. People are all in and focused on the mission to bring security back to Israel and to eliminate terrorists wherever they are. Right now it's in the Gaza Strip by Hamas, but it can be also in other places. And the nation is very strong and very encouraged to end the mission until the end, to bring security to the civilians.
I know some might be thinking, how are you able to leave your responsibilities as an IDF soldier and come here to the United States at this time?
Well, what I do with the IDF is very important, and it's a good question. But I think also me being here and meeting people who need to understand and not forget how this war started and what happened on October 7th, it's very, very important too. Because sometimes the public has short memories, and event comes after event, and you can sometimes forget what's important and who's right and who's wrong. And when I'm here and people see me and people hear my story and people understand really what's going on and not affected by all kinds of other noises that are around us, it gives us strength. And I think it's very, very important. So I dedicate a couple of days to come here, talk to many people, many communities, and I feel the support.
What's the biggest challenge for you, Monty, being a soldier?
I won't say it's a challenge. I said it's your very right to be it. The minute you become a soldier, you're not a private person anymore. You are the public person. you live to serve the public, you live to serve the nation, and it's every second of your life. I mean, you have this responsibility on your shoulders, and you have to make sure you're doing the best for the nation and for the people. So, and I serve for many years at the IDF, and every second of my life, this is what's behind me, what I'm doing, and it's some people say it's challenging. I say I'm very happy that that's my right to do it.
Are there times where you may be fearful of dying in a war?
We have many casualties in this war. As I said before, some of them I knew. And many of the soldiers who died, they left wills. And some of them have been published. And usually they wrote it before they went into battle, and they gave it to friends or to the commander or whatever. And if you read the wills, they all say the same thing. They said, even if I knew it would have ended this way, I would have done it again. I prefer living. We sacrifice our lives for other people can live. We don't want to die. But if that's what we need to do, that's exactly what we're going to do. And don't be sad. Be happy that I had the right to do that. And just stay united and don't stop until we finish.
That's powerful. That's
yeah.
very, very powerful. Some news media outlets broadcast about the tragic events that took place in Israel, and they've been misrepresented, in many ways. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm a soldier. I have my boots on the ground. I know exactly what the truth is and what's really happening. I don't get my information from the media. I see it with my own eyes. I touch it with my own hands. And I give advice to anyone who takes a side or has an opinion, to know exactly what he's doing and what he thinks after he checks everything out.
I think it's wise. I think that's good advice for anybody watching the media for any kind of news. What are your thoughts about the protest in favor of Palestinians taking place on some of our U.S. university campuses?
Well, they say this is a free country, and everyone has a right to protest for anything he wants, and he thinks it's the right thing. I think just whenever you protest, no matter for what, you should do it nonviolent, and you should respect the country you live in. And if you're sure that's what you think and that's what you want to protest, if you do it in a peaceful way, in the right way, so you should do it.
It concerns me. I wonder, are they taking to heart these still 133 hostages, I believe, that are still unaccounted for? Not to mention, as we talked about, the brutal way Hamas killed so many babies, children, and women on October 7th. I mean, there is a scripture that says the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can understand it? Mm-hmm. It is hard to understand sometimes, how people can do that and then support things like that and not fully understand that. But anyway, in your estimation, what's the most important thing for American people to fully understand about terrorist movements like Hamas and Hezbollah?
Look, fundamental groups, no matter where they come from, they have agendas. And they try to bring their agendas to the most powerful, valuable places and put them there. And if you don't do anything, you just sit and wait for something to happen, the fundamental groups will bring what they want to bring wherever they want to bring them and put it there. So my advice is, open your eyes, look around very good, and decide how do you want your country to look. If you want it this way or that way, put influence on it, because sometimes when stuff happens, it's hard to take the wheel and turn it around. So just be aware.
So we talked some about this, but I think it's important that what encourages you most about the way Israel is standing united.
You talked about the hostages before. And every single Israeli feels that his own family, his brothers and sisters are now hostages in Gaza. And we're not going to stop until each and every one of them is going to be back home with his family. And that the matter that we have hostages in tunnels or whatever in Gaza for already more than 7 months. I mean, that's encouraged us not to stop until we bring all of them back home.
Do you find strength through reading the Tanakh?
Yeah, I'm a religious guy, and I come from a religious family. And the Tanakh is the books of all books, the book of all books. And yeah, we get a lot of strength. I mean, that's our proof that the Israeli people need to live in Israel, that it's our country for thousands of years. So that's where we get our strength from. And you can find ways that we use the Tanakh from all kinds of ways during this war.
Are there particular portions you read in the Tanakh that encourages you most, and especially during this time right now?
I can tell you there's a tradition by IDF units. Before they go into the battle, they usually gather together and they sing verses from the Tanakh, from several parashot, and it gives them strength before they go into the battle.
And as music, does that help too during times?
Yeah. Music, it's it talks with your soul, and the Israeli music has 100,000 years back of the same songs our ancestors and ancestors sang, and in the temple when it was built, we had the Kohanim and Leviim. They used to sing on the stairs when people came in to worship God.
Now, when you return to Israel, will you continue to serve IDF?
Of course, that's my career.
Yeah, and how long will you serve? I mean, is it like you mentioned up until 45? I was trying to figure out the time frame.
Yeah,
or doing it for a career.
For a career, you can serve usually until the age of 45. You can keep on going, but usually not in combat anymore. But I don't know what I'm going to do after age of 45, because serving the people and serving the nation, I can't imagine anything that can replace it after I will be too old to do it.
Hopefully something will come good for
Yeah.
you at that time. I saw this story, and it was really a blessing to watch, where Israeli citizens often prepare food in their homes and bring it out to soldiers like yourselves to eat. Do you enjoy those meals, and how does it make you feel when your fellow countrymen bring these meals to you?
Well, from one side, we don't need the food to eat because the IDF has plenty of food for soldiers, but it really warms our hearts. When you see mothers and daughters and grandmothers come with their meals, that they put their soul in it and they try to make it as tasty as possible.
Yes.
So just the soldier will eat it, he will enjoy it and have a good time. So it's great. It's very warming.
When you're living in Israel during times of peace or somewhat peaceful times, without attacks from terrorists mainly, what do you like to do, and where do you like to go?
Well, I like enjoying time with my family, obviously. I like to run. I run marathons. I put time into that. I have a group that also volunteers in a special needs organization. So we go volunteer there and we run with them sometimes. I like to read books. A regular guy.
What's your best marathon time?
Wow. Well, I don't run too fast, but I did the last New York marathon at 4 hours and 40 minutes. So it's not too fast, but it was challenging.
It's much better than I could do. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Monty, as we wrap up this show today, in closing, what would you like to say to the American people?
First of all, I would like to say thank you, because I'm here and I feel the support, and I feel that the people of the American country support Israel very much. I mean, I meet all kinds of people, and most of the reactions I get is, as I said before, is hugs and be strong, and we're with you, and God's with you, and defeat terror, whatever it is. And we hope the support will keep on coming because it's a long war. It's already 7 months, and it probably is going to keep on going. And it's very important because, as I said before, sometimes there can be areas that are misunderstanding, and we have to make sure that it doesn't happen to the majority of the people. And the American people are smart people and wise people, and I'm sure it's not going to happen. Thank
you so much for coming and taking time to share with us here at Bot Radio Network about your story and life in Israel. Our listeners will want to pray for you and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Well, friends, that's all the time we have on this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint here on Bott Radio Network. Thanks for listening. I'm Byron Tyler, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.